And look at that, just in time. Let me cue up my crowd noise. It's time for Strat-O-Matic baseball. I was just watching the end of Jeffrey Guterman's broadcast, 1969 replay. I'll put the link in here. His game just ended. Extra innings. Twins in Cleveland. Yes. Anyway, there it is. There's the link. 1969 Strat-O-Matic baseball. 1972 Strat-O-Matic football. A very excellent presentation. And I'm doing one today, you bet. This is Spokane Steve, and I had a really rough night, but I'm feeling way better today. I doubled up on the antibiotics because I'm thinking they're not strong enough. I need more. So anyway, did some self-medicating and prescription medicating and feel much better today. Sweated out a lot of crud and coughed out a lot of crud as well. I actually feel like I've got less rattle in my chest today, much less than yesterday. So we're going to play this one. April 22nd, it's the Los Angeles Dodgers at the Chicago Cubs, and it's Sandy Koufax, always a treat, versus Dick Ellsworth, another fine left-hander. I thought they faced each other earlier this year, but I looked it up. Koufax actually was opposed by Larry Jackson the last time they played the Cubs. April 15th, I think it was, and of course Jackson has since been traded to the Phillies. And welcome, Bob, and thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Looks like I got some kind of crap on the back of Sandy's card there. We don't use the backside, so that really doesn't matter, does it? Let's go over the lineups just very quickly, and we'll get underway. For the Dodgers, it'll be Maury Wills at shortstop, Wes Parker at first base, Lou Johnson in left field moves up to the 3 spot. Al Ferrara gets a rare start today in right field, and he's batting cleanup. Ron Fairley's in center field. Willie Davis gets a day off. Jeff Torborg will do the catching. And Nate Oliver at second base hits 7th. John Kennedy gets his first start of the year at third base and hits 8th, with Koufax hitting 9th. For the Cubs, it'll be Roberto Pena. He's moved into the leadoff spot. And I found a different nameless card for him, of course, against a lefty than the horrible one I was using to represent him against a righty. I almost printed a card for him against a lefty. But he only has 17 at-bats, so he's almost done. And I weigh these things with, I've got Warwick here, for example. Every time I use color ink, I mean, it's not exactly cheap, you know what I mean? So, at this point, for one game, I'm not doing a Pena card. This is close enough. He's got a couple homers instead of the doubles. It's basically close enough. Glenn Beckert bats second. Billy Williams in right field third. Ron Santo in the cleanup at third. Ernie Banks at first. Byron Brown will be in left field today. Hundley will do the catching and hit 7th. Carl Warwick is in center field and hitting 8th, and you just saw his card. Computer-only card. I've had that one since day one. And Dick Ellsworth hitting 9th. And yeah, I'm with you, Bob, although, as they say, that's why we play the games, an old saying I love. You know that. And you never know in Strat-O-Matic. So we're about ready to go here on a Saturday afternoon. December 23rd. 2 days from Christmas only. Ellsworth. He's ready to work now. Let's get the right team up there, first of all. As Maury Wills steps in to lead things off. Switch hitter batting righty. Ellsworth, the sign from Hyundai. Here's the first play of the game. It's going to be a 6-6 to the right-hander. Taps it down to third base. That's Santo. Throws him out, and there's one down, and we're underway. And here's Wesley Parker batting right-handed, another switch hitter. Ellsworth, the windup. Pitch to Parker on a 6-6, same number. Topper to third. Santo. Carbon copy of the last play, and he throws Parker out. And with 2 down, it'll be Sweet Lou Johnson, the left fielder. Here's the windup, and the pitch is going to be a 3-10 against the left-hander. Fly to right field. That's going to be playable for Billy Williams. And Ellsworth sets him down in order in the first. So after half, it's Dodgers nothing, Cubs coming to bat. Koufax comes in 2-0. I forgot to look at Ellsworth. I was looking at these numbers earlier. Koufax comes in 2-0. Ellsworth has no decision yet. That's probably why I didn't remember it. And here's Pena to lead things off. Right-handed hitting shortstop. He's a weak. Koufax, the windup and the pitch on a 1-6. That's a grounder down to third base. That's going to be Kennedy. Kennedy fields it, throws to Parker, and there's one away. Oh, that's right. I was going to try to start writing smaller in the boxes. A little critique I made on myself. We'll see if I can. I'm not good at writing small, but my score sheets get so crowded I confuse myself sometimes with the mess. I'm thinking it might be advantageous to write a little bit smaller. Anyway, here's Beckert with 1 out. Koufax, the sign from Torborg. Big windup, and here's the pitch on a 1-10. That's a grounder down to third base. Kennedy to his left, up with it now, and throws him out. Yeah, more like that. But that's going to be hard for me. Maybe I need a fine point pen. Here's Billy Williams now. Williams, the windup. Sorry, Koufax, the windup. 2-7 to the lefty. It's a single to 11, and that's going to squeak just past Oliver. He dives, he stops it, keeps it on the infield, but that's it. That's going to be an infield single for Billy Williams. So a 2-out single for Billy. Billy, a marvelous hitter anyway, a Hall of Famer. Needs no introduction. And here's Santo. Can Williams run? Not really. So no need to hold him on. And from the stretch, here's the pitch to Santo. That's going to be a 4-3 to the right-hander. It's a fly ball to right field X. That could be trouble. That is Ferrara, a 4E14. Ferrara drifting towards the gap. Here's the play on a 19, and he can't get it. That's down for a single. Williams is going to steam into third base. Very playable ball. A little bit generous scoring, if you ask me. But that will be ruled a single, and now the Cubs have runners at the corners and 2 down, and Ernie Banks strides to the plate. 2 down. Banks, the third Hall of Famer in a row to bat against Sandy this inning. Koufax from the stretch. The pitch to Banks on a 1-10. It's a liner, speared by Parker. Oh my, that saved a run. And that'll retire the side. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left on. And we're scoreless after an inning. Just getting started here on a Saturday afternoon. I was not even planning to go today, to stream that is. But feeling much better. And of course, anytime you can use a Sandy Koufax card, it's always a treat. So I figured, hey, let's do it. Okay, it's Ferrara, Fairley, and Torborg for the Dodgers in the second inning. Ellsworth ready to work, sign from Hundley. Here's the windup and the pitch to Ferrara. Comebacker. Ellsworth has it. And he's retired on a 1-3. And here's Fairley. Lefty on lefty now. Here's the pitch to Fairley, a 6-12. That's a comebacker to the pitcher X. Ellsworth is a 3E27. And here's the play. On 11, that will be the error rating. An E27 It's going to be a roll of a 9, and he makes a fine play and throws fairly out. Two down, and here's Torborg. Torborg in the lineup today against the lefty. Here's the pitch from Ellsworth on a 5-8. That's going to be a single for Torborg, double to 5. The roll of 7. Torborg will settle for a single there. That's a 2-out single for Jeff Torborg, and that'll bring up Nate Oliver. Oliver, now you guys have heard me deride his horrible card against righties. Actually, he's decent against lefties. Still a weak, but at least he's got some hits. So here from the stretch is Ellsworth pitching to Oliver on a 5-7. Swung on and missed, strike 3. So no runs, a hit, they leave a man, and we're still scoreless. Yeah, don't let that 8-22 record fool you on Ellsworth. He was a fine pitcher. He just didn't get any support from his team. Brown, Hundley, and Warwick due for the Cubbies here in the bottom of the second. Cool weather here at Wrigley. Only about 4,500 in the house. A cool day, wind blowing in slightly. Here's Koufax now, the windup. The pitch to Byron Brown. That's a 6-4 to the right-hander. Swung on and missed, strike 3. And that's the first of the game for Sandy. And here's Randy Hundley. Actually, maybe the K's should be bigger and everything else could be smaller. Then I could see those easier. That's a thought. We'll play with that as we go along. Here's Hundley now. Koufax the windup. The pitch to Randy. 2-3. He walks him. So a 1-out walk to Randy Hundley. And that'll bring up Carl Warwick. This pitcher's hitting card here is just as a placeholder. So we're going to bring in the giant Warwick. I may have to consult my Windows game to read some of these left-handed results. Runner not held from the stretch. Koufax's delivery to Warwick on a 3-8. Yes, I'm going to have to look at that one. Looks like a single to 2. But let's make sure. It's a single to 2, and on a 10, that will be a line out to shortstop. So Warwick's retired, and Ellsworth will be the batter. Left-handed hitter. Koufax from the stretch. On a 1-8, swung on and missed, strike 3, and down goes Ellsworth. 2 Ks for Koufax. No runs, a hit, a man left, and we're scoreless after 2. God, you gotta love these scoreless pitching duels, don't you? We haven't had as many lately. I've had some wild games here the last week or so. And those are fun too. All in all, this is just a... God, I can't say enough about this 1966 card set. It's just been an amazing amount of fun. Okay, it's going to be Kennedy, Koufax, and Wills for Los Angeles here as we move along to the 3rd inning. Ellsworth gets his sign. Here's the pitch to Kennedy. That's going to be a 2-8. Struck him out. And that's 2 Ks for Ellsworth now. That'll bring up Koufax. Koufax was a right-handed batter, of course. And not a good one by any means. He was a terrible hitter, actually. Truth be told. And on a 6-6 to the righty, it's a tapper down to 3rd. That'll be Santo. Routine for Ron Santo. He throws Koufax out, and there's 2 down. See, I can't write small even when I try. I just can't. Here's Wills now. Right-handed hitter on a 4-6. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Ellsworth fans to a 1-2-3 inning. And we are still scoreless. And thank you, Bob. I do appreciate it. Appreciate all the support and the well wishes when I was more under the weather. Not out of the woods, but I'm happy with the progress today. Top of the order here for the Cubs, Pena to lead things off, a right-handed hitter. Koufax into the windup. Pitch to Pena on a 1-3. It's going to be a tapper down to short. Wills behind the bag, scoops it up and throws him out. One down, and Glenn Beckert will be the hitter. Beckert bounced out to third base his first time up. Koufax gets his sign. And here's the pitch on a 5-5. Swung on and missed, strike three. He broke off a dandy that time. Beckert swinging way over it, and there's two down. And here's Billy Williams. Williams singled his first time up. Here's the pitch on a 6-7, swung on and missed, strike three. And he's mowing him down now. That's his fourth K. 1, 2, 3 go the Cubbies. And we're scoreless after 3 complete. And these games do tend to go quickly when nobody's scoring. Seems like we just started and we've got 3 innings in. It's going to be Parker, Johnson, and Ferrara for Los Angeles here as we move along to the top of the fourth. I'll have a little sip of my tea. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's much better. God, I almost feel like I'm getting my full voice back for the first time in weeks. Parker batting right-handed. Ellsworth, he gets his sign from Hundley. Here's the windup. Pitch to Wes Parker is a 3-8. Pop up left side. That's going to be Pena. He's got it, and there's one down. And here's Lou Johnson. Flew out to right field his first time up. The pitch to Ellsworth. A 2-10. That's a comebacker. Ellsworth has it. Flips over to Banks. Quickly 2 away. Al Ferrara, he hit one to the mound. That's 3 comebackers now. So Ellsworth keeping the ball down. He's throwing some worm killers up there. There's the pitch to Ferrara. That's going to be a 5-4 to the right-hander. That's catcher's card X. That'll be Hundley. Hundley very solid, a 2-6. And here's the roll on the play. On a 14, he makes the catch. That's a pop out to the catcher. 1, 2, 3 go the Dodgers. And headed to the bottom of the fourth, we're still scoreless. And Larry's here. And yes, thank you, Larry. I am feeling much better today, thankfully. As we move to the bottom of the fourth, Santo, Banks, and Brown due for Chicago. Okay, ready to go here. Koufax gets his sign. Here's the windup. Here's the pitch to Santo. A 3-3 against the left-hander, and he draws the walk. A leadoff walk to Santo here in the fourth inning. And that'll bring up Ernie Banks. Koufax from the stretch now. The pitch to Ernie. That's a 4-8. Swung on and missed, strike three. And now that is 5 Ks for Koufax. He allowed 2 hits in the first inning. Nothing since. And here's the pitch to Byron Brown. On a 6-7, swung on and missed, strike 3. Holy cow, he's humming along now, isn't he? And that'll bring up Hundley with 2 down. Santo at first takes a modest lead, not held on. The pitch from the stretch on a 1-12. That's a base hit into center field for Hundley. That's an open single. Santo can try to take third on that. The center fielder is Fairley today. He's a 0. So Santo to third would be an 11 with 2 outs, 13. He's going to hold up. Not quite enough speed there to risk going into third base with 2 outs. And that will allow Carl Warwick to come up. So let's get the giant Warwick out here. Koufax from the stretch now. The pitch to Carl. A 6-8. Swung on and missed strike 3, and he fans the side. Holy cow. No runs a hit. They leave a pair. They had a rally going. But that's 7 Ks for Sandy now. And after 4 complete, no score. So Koufax pitching as billed, and Ellsworth matching him almost pitch for pitch, except for the Ks. But Ellsworth has 3. And he'll be facing Fairley, Torborg, and Oliver here in the 5th inning. I'll take a brief pause to have a sip of my tea. And here's Fairley now, stepping in from the left side. Left on left as Ellsworth gets the sign from Hundley. Here's the pitch to Fairley, a 6-7 to the lefty. Tapper down to second. That's going to be Glenn Beckert. Behind the bag, turns and throws him out. And it'll be Torborg. Torborg has the only hit of the game for Los Angeles. The Cubs have 3 hits. Torborg singled in the second. Ellsworth the windup. The pitch to Torborg is a 3-8. Comebacker. Holy cow, it's the 4th one. He's got it. Flips over to Banks, 2 down. And with 2 down, Nate Oliver will be the hitter. Oliver struck out in the 2nd inning. Ellsworth with the pitch. A 6-11 to the right. He gets a fly ball to right field, X. That's going to be Williams. He's a 3-8. Here's the play. On a 7, he drifts over and makes a fine running catch. Billy Williams. Nice play. 1, 2, 3 go the Dodgers, and Ellsworth is mowing him down now. 3, 6, 9. He's retired 10 in a row. And Ellsworth will be leading off in the 5th, right? Left-handed batter. Lefty on left as Koufax delivers on a 6-7. Struck him out. Struck out the pitcher twice, not at all surprisingly. And it's back to the top of the lineup, Roberto Pena, represented here, of course, by the nameless card. Here's the windup and the pitch to Pena on a 5-4. That's catcher's card X. That's going to be Torborg, a 3-7. Here's the roll on the play. That's going to be a 6. Pop out to the catcher. Nice play, Torborg. And with 2 away, it'll be Glenn Beckert. Beckert 0 for 2 today. Koufax gets his sign. The windup, the pitch to Beckert on a 1-8. That's a base hit. Right up the middle, a 2-out single for Glenn Beckert. And Becker's got some wheels. He's an *16, 1 through 14 runner. Koufax not a good hold, a +1, but Torborg's a -1. They're going to hold Beckert on. That would make him a 1 to 14 should he get the lead. And that's close. That's 70% with 2 down. Get him into scoring position for Billy. He's going to try for the lead. He needs a 7 to get it. 6, he does not establish a good lead. And Billy Williams will hit away. Lefty on lefty. From the stretch, a 1-5. Ground ball down to second base. Oliver there. Goes the short way to Wills, and that'll do it. 4-6, that retires the side. No runs a hit. 1 left. And after 5 complete, we are scoreless. 5 singles in the game. Ellsworth, a 1-hitter. The only hit he allowed was the single to Torborg back in the second inning. So facing Koufax, apparently bringing out the best in Ellsworth as well. And that was so often the case in these kind of matchups, right? I mean, not these kind, but there was only one Koufax. But anytime you were facing you had Baylor Moore facing Tom Seaver, let's say. Baylor Moore brought his best game. He knew he had to. And I use that just as an example. Kennedy, Koufax, and Wills for Los Angeles as we roll right into the sixth inning here. Ellsworth ready to work. Here's the pitch to the right-hander. That's a 6-10. Fly to center. That's going to be playable for Warwick. He ranges over and makes the catch for the out. And Koufax will bat, right-handed hitter. The pitch from Ellsworth on a 3-7. Tapper down to second. Beckert has it. Throws him out, 2 down. And here's Maury Wills, 2 away. Switch hitter batting righty. Ellsworth, the windup in the pitch, a 5-8. That's a double to 5. Wills is going to settle for a long single. So a 2-out single for Wills, only the second hit of the ball game for Los Angeles. Wills an asterisk 15. Ellsworth a 0. Hundley a 0. They'll have to hold him on. That would make him a 13. And that's borderline there. I'm half tempted to send him. Or at least try for the lead, I mean. I'm going to let Parker hit. From the stretch, the pitch to Wes Parker, a 6-8 to the righty. Single to center, that's an open single. Wills can try to go to third on that. Warwick is 0. Wills a 17 with 2 outs and 19. They're going to concede it and keep Parker at first base. There's no way they're going to throw him out on a 19. There is no point even trying. So Parker comes through with a base hit, and it's runners at the corners now. There's 2 down, and Lou Johnson, the batter. Ellsworth an S7 as far as endurance goes. We're only in the 6, so that's not even an issue here. That and Ellsworth has only allowed 3 hits. So it's Lou Johnson, runners at the corners. Does Parker need to be held? He does not. He's a 14, but not an asterisk, a 16 base runner. Infield back then, Ellsworth from the stretch. The pitch to Sweet Lou is a 4-7, a single to 5, but that liner is going to find the glove of Santo, and that's going to end the inning. So a liner to Santo, no runs, 2 hits, 2 left on, and we are still scoreless. Holy cow, it's a goose egg city here. And welcome Kelly. Boy, he's hanging with him all right. He's only given up 3 hits. Sandy's allowed 4 hits. All 7 of the hits singles. And it will be Santo, Banks, and Brown due for Chicago in the bottom of the 6th. Little break to get a sip of tea. Koufax the sign from Torborg now, the windup. The pitch to Santo on a 6-9. He walks him. Lead-off walk to Santo here in the 6th inning. So Santo's aboard, and Ernie Banks will be the hitter. Sandy now from the stretch. The pitch to Ernie, a 4-11. Swung on and missed strike 3. And what is that now? That's 2, 4, 7, 8, 9 Ks. And Byron Brown will be the hitter. Brown standing in from the right side, from the stretch. It's a 2-4. Fly to center. It's going to be playable for Fairley. He ranges over into the gap and makes the catch for the out. And with 2 down, it'll be Randy Hundley. Hundley 1 for 1 with a walk. Torborg flashing some signs. Koufax nodding. Now from the stretch. The pitch to Hundley on a 3-5. That's a tapper down to second. Oliver's got it. Throws him out to retire the side. No runs, no hits. 1 left on after 6 complete. It's 0-0 here at Wrigley. So yeah, I said earlier the wind blowing in. That I was just fooling around, but it's turning out to be prophetic, at least to this point. And it will be Ferrara, Fairley, and Torborg for Los Angeles in the 7th, and what is certain to be Ferrara's last at bat. In the real-life game, he, of course, was removed for defense. Willie Davis going in, Fairley shifting to right. And that's exactly what will happen here as Ellsworth goes into the windup. The pitch to Al Ferrara, a 3-7. It's a single to 15, but on a 16, a diving stop by Glenn Beckert, who gets up and throws him out. So holy cow, what a play by Beckert to rob Ferrara of a hit. Let's look at that again. 3-7, single to 15. Yep, it's a 16. And Fairley will be the hitter. Ellsworth the sign from Hundley now. Pitch to Fairley on a 2-10. He walks him. So Fairley works out the 1-out walk. And he's aboard for Torborg. Torborg 1 for 2. Ellsworth from the stretch now. And here's the pitch to Torborg. On a 2-7. Swung on and missed strike 3. A vicious cut by Torborg. He catches nothing but air. And with 2 away and a runner on first, Nate Oliver will be the hitter. And here's the pitch from the stretch. A 4-9. Single, 2-base advance to right field. So Oliver with a base hit. Fairley, he's rounding. He's headed into third. Runners at the corners with 2 outs, and John Kennedy will be the hitter. Kennedy's 0 for 2. Kennedy more noted, of course, for his glove than his bat. But with a walk and a hit allowed, the Cubs are going to have to. The Cubs have some activity going in their pen right now. Switch right. Who would they get up in this situation? Fergie Jenkins is going to loosen along with lefty Billy Heft. Fergie Jenkins, of course, just came over yesterday in that big trade with the Phillies. He hasn't pitched yet for Chicago. He might get a chance today. So runners at the corners, 2 down, and here's Kennedy, and here's Ellsworth's pitch from the stretch. On a 4-8, that's a single, 2-base advance. That's going to drive in the first run of the game, and that will fatigue Ellsworth. So an RBI single by John Kennedy. Fairley scores easily. Oliver scoots clear into third base. And it's 1-0. And here comes DeRocher. A walk and 2 singles, sure enough. Koufax due up, but they're going to go to the pen anyway. Ellsworth ends up going 6 2/3. He pitched a marvelous game. How fast they can fatigue, right? And Bob would have walked Kennedy. Well, yeah, he came through, so in retrospect, but I mean, he's not good. Kennedy is not good. I kind of like what, I forget who said it once. It was a pitcher. And he said, if I'm in a jam and I've got the number 8 hitter at the plate, I'm going to get down on my knees and thank the Lord. So Ellsworth only allowed 3, 4, 5 hits. The 1 run, 2 runners on, his responsibility. I don't think he walked. Yes, he did. He walked 1 in this inning. That was it. He hadn't walked anyone prior to that. 3, 4 Ks. And Fergie Jenkins is going to make his Chicago debut here. How about that? So runners at the corners, 2 down. Koufax hitting. Here's Fergie Jenkins now. And here's the pitch to Sandy. On a 4-8, he struck him out. And that will do it. They pick up a run on 2 hits, leave a pair. After 6.5, it's Los Angeles 1, Chicago nothing. And you have to ask yourself, is that enough for Sandy? Warwick will be leading things off here in the bottom of the inning. Then most likely a pinch hitter for Jenkins. I imagine they'd bring in Heft to pitch to the 2 switch hitters and then see where it goes. Oh, but first I almost forgot. For Los Angeles, in Ferrara's spot, Willie Davis is going to come in and play center field. Fairly moving to right. So Ferrara, a horrid defensive ball player, he gives away here to Willie Davis. And Warwick will lead things off here in the bottom of the 7th. Sandy gets the sign. The windup, the pitch to Carl is a 5-5, swung on and missed strike 3. And now we'll have a batter for Jenkins. So Jenkins got his man out on a strikeout. Billy Heft, the left-hander, has been warming. He'll be coming on for Chicago. And they need a batter. Who did they use in this game in real life? They used... I can't even read my own writing. Phillips and Altman. Phillips and Bacabella. Adolfo Phillips came over in that trade too. That makes a lot of sense to me. That's who it's going to be. So pinch hitting for Jenkins here. Adolfo Phillips. Right-handed batter. He's got some... Well, he's a weak against lefties. I was going to say he's got some pop, but his pop's actually against righties. Nice threes column, though. And here's the pitch from Sandy. On a 3-3, he hits him. Holy crap. Phillips drilled. He takes first. No intent there in a 1-0 ball game. And Phillips has wheels. He'll have to be held on. Asterisk 17, held on, he's a 15. He's going to try for the lead. He needs a 3 through a 7. On a 9, he does not establish a good lead. He's still a 15. He's a 1 through 11 on his back number. That's not good enough. And it's Roberto Pena now. Pena 0 for 3. Koufax from the stretch. The pitch to Pena, 1-3. That's a grounder down to short. That's going to be 2. Wills has it to Oliver to first, double play. No runs, no hits, no one left. There was a hit batter. At the end of 7 complete, it's Dodgers 1, Cubs nothing. And here's Heft now, the left-hander. He might only be on to face 2 batters. Let's see what else they have down there. Abernathy was pretty much the save guy. They've got Kuntz. He's good. Cal Kuntz is going to begin throwing in the Chicago pen. Right now, it'll be Billy Heft, the lefty. Top of the order for Los Angeles here in the 8th. And greetings, Joel, and greetings, Gary. And greetings, Jimmy. I miss Jimmy. Jimmy from Chicago, of course. Jimmy Jam. When I see that, and I hope you don't take offense to this, I think of the Jam character on Parks and Recs. You just got jammed. Right? How many people are familiar with that? So I'm having a little tea. Taking a short breather here before we get underway in the 8th inning. It'll be the top of the order for the Dodgers. Wills, batting righty against Heft. Here's the windup. The pitch to Morey is a 5-6, swung on and missed, strike 3. And down goes Morey on a wicked breaking ball. And here's Wes Parker now. Parker 1 for 3. Heft gets his sign. Here's the windup. Pitch to Parker, a 3-5. He walked him. Oh my. Now you've got Johnson, but then you've got Davis and Fairley to follow. They're going to stay with the left-hander. Parker, not a threat to steal. Lou Johnson's 0 for 3 today. Parker a modest lead as Heft comes set and from the stretch. The pitch to Lou, a 6-8. That is a triple to 7. It's a 9. That's going to be into the gap. An open double. Parker can try to score on that. That is to center, isn't it? 6-8. Double to center. That's Warwick, a 0. Parker's got wheels. He's a 1 to 16. 1 away. He's coming. Here he comes. Here's the throw from Warwick. He's in there. So RBI double for Johnson. Johnson a 1 through 16. He takes third on the throw. And now the Cubs will play the infield in, trailing by 2. 1 away. Here's Willie Davis now, entered into the game for defense. Infield in, 1 down. Here's the pitch to Willie on a 3-8. Base hit, another run will come in. Single into center field, that will score Johnson. And it is 3-0. Davis, an asterisk 17, he'll have to be held on. Heft's a +3, so he'd be a 20. Held on, he's an 18. And he's going to try for the lead. That's a 2 through 5, 11 or 12. 6, he does not establish a lead, and Fairley will hit away. And you'd have to think if Heft can't get the left-hander out, or even if he can, this is probably his last batter. And here's the pitch to Fairley. It's a 2-5. That's a double into the gap. Davis got a late start, and he'll have to hold up at third. And here comes DeRocher. And that's going to be it for Heft, who just did not get the job done here in the 8th. And Cal Kuntz is going to come on. So second and third, 1 down. Heft's gone. Cal Kuntz will come on. Heft in a third of an inning basically imploded. 3 hits and a walk. 2 runs and 2 runners in scoring position, his responsibility. Struck out one, and here's Kuntz now, the right-hander. 3.81. Very tough on righties, though. And that's what he's going to be facing. Torborg with Oliver on deck. So here's the pitch now. Infield in. Runners at second and third, 1 down. The pitch to Torborg, a 4-7, and he walks him, and the bases are full. And now they'll play the infield back and hope to get a ground ball out of Nate Oliver. Oliver, a terrible hitter against right-handers. Full windup now. The pitch to Nate on a 3-5. It's a single to 10, but that liner will be caught by Beckert. And Fairley just does get back to the bag. So 2 down now, and here's Kennedy. Kuntz pitching to Kennedy, full windup. Pitch to Kennedy, a 5-5. High fly ball to left field, but he's a weak. 5-5. It's a single. It's a homer 1-9, but he's a weak. On a roll of a 5, it's going to be a 2-base single to right field. That's going to plate 2 more, and they've blown it open here. A 2 RBI single by the light-hitting junior John Kennedy, not Junior Kennedy. That was a different Kennedy. Willie Davis scores. Fairley scores. Torborg into third. And Kennedy, the 201 hitting third baseman, has 2 hits and 3 RBIs. So you just never know. And here's Koufax. Right-handed hitter. Pitch from Kuntz, a 1-6, swung on and missed strike 3. And mercifully for Chicago, the side is retired. But the Dodgers bat around in the 8th and plate 4 on 4 hits. They leave a pair. There were a couple of walks as well. And it's 5-0. And 5-0 with Koufax. It's time for the fat lady to warm up. And the wheels came off. Kennedy, the unlikeliest of heroes. Up until this game, Kennedy has been used strictly as a defensive replacement. And hello, Larry. So Koufax has scattered 4 hits to this point. It'll be Beckert, Williams, and Santo for Chicago in the bottom of the 8th. Here's Beckert now. Koufax gets his side, the windup. The pitch to Beckert on a 1-6. Beckert goes the other way and slaps a single into right field, and Glenn's 2 for 4 today. So a leadoff single by Glenn Beckert, and Billy Williams will be the hitter. Billy 1 for 3. Koufax leans in to get his sign now, and from the stretch, pitch to Williams on a 3-8. That's ripped down the right field line for extra bases. Fairly over to cut it off. They're going to hold up Beckert at third on a double by Billy Williams. And the Cubs have something going in the 8th. Second and third, nobody out. And Ron Santo to bat with Ernie Banks on deck. So there's hope in Chicago still. Dodgers will play back. They're just trying to avoid the big inning. They'll give up the run on third. As Koufax comes set, and it's pitched to Santo on a 2-5. It's a grounder to the pitcher, A. Runners hold. So Koufax takes the comebacker, looks the runner back, and throws Santo out. And it'll be up to Banks. Byron Brown on deck. Koufax the windup. Pitch to Ernie, a 5-8. That's a grounder to second base X. That's going to be Oliver, 2E21. The infield back, this will probably score at least 1. on an 11. That's the error rating. So an E21 on an 8. That's a ground ball A, and the runner has to hold. So no run even scores on that. 4-3-X. I thought for sure a run would come in on that play. 2 down, and here's Byron Brown. Runner's still at second and third. Now there's 2 away, and here's the pitch to Brown. On a 2-6, he walks him, and the bases are loaded. So a walk to Byron Brown loads the bases. Koufax an S9. Fatigue is not a problem, but he is struggling a bit here in the 8th, and here's Hundley. Hundley 1 for 2 with the walk. Sandy ready now. There's the pitch to Hundley on a 2-6. That's a high fly ball to left field. Back goes Johnson. Oh my God, it's a grand slam home run, Randy Hundley. Holy crap. 2-6-5. Fly out, anything else, it's a 1, and it's a grand slam for Randy Hundley, and suddenly it's a 5-4 ball game. Let's look at that again. 2-6, homer 2-5. He got all of it. And that'll bring up Warwick. Torborg out to the mound, just checking on Sandy. So Koufax sailing along for 7 innings. Seems to have lost it in the 8th. And now he's pitching to Warwick. On a 5-4, that's catcher's card X. That'll be Torborg, a 3-7. And here's the roll on the play. 11, so that will be a 5 on an E7. And he can't come up with it. That's an error on Torborg. So E2 puts Warwick aboard. Error Los Angeles. Warwick's a 1-13 runner, and now they'll bat for Kuntz. Kuntz went 2/3. A hit, a walk, a K. No runs. So it was Ellsworth 1. 4 runs charged to Heft. Holy cow. And they'll have a hitter now. They don't have a whole lot left in the bullpen. As Bill Fall warms, there will be a batter. For the Dodgers, Bob Miller and Ron Peronowski begin throwing, a lefty and a righty. Let's see what they've got left from the right side. Well, the best guy they could bring up in this situation would be Harvey Keene. Harvey Keene, who has in real life, quite a history with Koufax, as many of you may know. So here's Keene now. Keene batted .296 that year in limited duty. Runner on first, 2 away. From the stretch, the pitch to Keene, 6-8. He struck him out. So finally, he closes the door. The Cubs come up with 4 runs, however, on 3 hits and leave a man. There was a walk and an error. And after 8 complete, it's Los Angeles 5, Chicago 4. And Bill Fall will be the 5th Chicago pitcher of the afternoon. Right-handed pitcher. And it will be the top of the lineup for Los Angeles. And welcome, Aaron. Merry Christmas. Yeah, we almost had a Koufax masterpiece. But the Cubs said, hey, wait a minute. Randy Hundley with a grand slam home run puts the Cubs back in the ballgame. Top of the order for Los Angeles, Wills, Parker, and Johnson. Fall ready to work now. Here's the pitch to Morey on a 4-8, a single to 1, and oh my God, it is a 1. How about that? A single just off of the glove of Beckert. And Wills is aboard to lead off the ninth. Fall, an excellent hold, however, a -4 with Hundley 0. That would make Wills an 11 not held. They don't even need to hold him on. And Wes Parker will hit away. Wills taking his lead, not a big one. Fall throws over there, Wills back to the bag. Now from the stretch, here's the pitch to Parker. Parker batting lefty against Fall on a 3-10. That's ripped down the right field line. That's for extra bases. Triple to 8, it's a 15. That's a double, an open double. Wills can try to score on that. To center field, that's going to be Warwick, a 0. Wills, a 17. Here he comes, and here's the throw. On the relay, he's in there. So an RBI double by Parker. He takes third on the throw. And they'll have to pull the infield in again now, and here's Johnson. Fall, a glance at third, now comes to the plate. On a 4-11, it's a fly to left field X. That's going to be Brown. Brown's a 4E12 in left, so this is anything but automatic. And here's the play on a 2. He cannot play it. That's down into the corner for a double. And that'll score another run. So an RBI double for Lou Johnson. That'll score Parker. And it's 7-4. And Koufax has some breathing room once again. And here's Willie Davis. The pitch from Fall, a 1-7. Pop up right side. Banks calling for it. He's got it, and there's one down. And that'll bring up Fairley. Fairley, 1 for 3 today with a walk. Here's the pitch from Fall. On a 2-11, high fly ball to right field. Back goes Williams, just shy of the track, does pull it in. 2 away, and the batter will be Torborg. 1 for 3 with a walk. Fall set now. Pitch to Torborg on a 3-2, grounder down to third. Santo has it. Throws across in time, and that will do it. But the Dodgers tack on 2 insurance runs on 3 hits and leave 1. We go to the bottom of the ninth, 7-4 Los Angeles. And Koufax, thanks almost exclusively to an endurance rating of 9, is still in the game, or he would have been out of the game after the home run to Hundley. If he'd been an S8 or less, I mean. But as it is, he's still out there. It'll be Pena, Beckert, and Williams for Chicago. Here's Roberto Pena. 0 for 4. Here's the pitch on a 5-9. Struck him out. One down now, and here's Beckert. Beckert's 2 for 4 today. Koufax into the windup. The pitch to Beckert on a 3-6. Tapper down to third. That's Kennedy. He's got it. Long throw across in time. And the Cubs are down to their last out. And it's going to be Billy Williams. Billy's 2 for 4 with a double. Koufax the windup. The pitch to Billy, a 6-8, swung on and missed, strike 3, and that's the ball game. 7-4 the final. Koufax all the way for the win. It wasn't the vintage Koufax. Well, it was if you don't count the 8th inning. But they all count. Let's see who gave up the... Heft takes the loss. Fall worked an inning. 3 hits, 2 runs. Koufax allowed 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hits. 4 runs. He walked 2, 3, 4 and hit a batter. So a little off on the control today, perhaps. 2, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 strikeouts. So he was certainly vintage in the strikeout department. And I'm going over some of the chat comments now. Torborg Manager of the Year, 90, absolutely. And yes, Larry, batting practice. Not a lot of depth in that Chicago pen. In fact, the Cubs dropped to 1-8 on the season now. The Dodgers 8-2. That, I think, moves them into a tie with the Phillies, if I'm correct on that. Yes, it does. They were a half game behind the Phillies coming into the game. Dodgers 7 runs on 8, 9, 12 hits. They made 1 error. The error after the Grand Slam home run did not affect any scoring. The Cubs 4 runs, 7 hits, no errors. So Hundley made it exciting there for a short while. And fall 11-1 at AAA Syracuse in 1964. Bob Cole, it was never in doubt. Always a treat to see Koufax. It's always fun to use a Koufax card. Or a Gibson or a Marischal, for that matter. Anyway, that's it for me. And I definitely won't be doing a game on Christmas. I'm not sure about tomorrow. Depends how I feel and what I'm doing, I guess. It'll be Christmas Eve. I certainly wouldn't do a late game. Maybe a morning game on Christmas Eve. We'll have to see. I'm not going to schedule one. The next game on the schedule will be the Philadelphia Phillies at the Cincinnati Reds. That's Boozer and Nuxhall. 2, let's just say, not the best cards in the set, so could be a lot of runs scored in that one. You never know. I want to thank everyone again for your support and wishing all of you a Merry Christmas. And I'll talk to you most likely after a couple-day break for the holiday. So Merry Christmas, everyone. Thank you. This is Spokane Steve wishing you all a pleasant evening. Take care, everyone.